This just in out of college football, where Boise State star Ashton Jeanty has declared for the 2025 NFL Draft. The All-American tailback finished second in Heisman voting this season, rushing for just over 2,600 yards and 29 touchdowns. Our Ryan Wilson currently has him projected at number 19 overall to go to the Texans in his latest mock draft. And for more on Jeanty and what his NFL prospects look like, let's bring in Ryan Wilson. All right, let's talk about his prospects. What is he going to? It's not a surprise, right, that he is declared for the draft, but what does he bring to the NFL?
Yeah, it would have been a bigger surprise had he not declared, Katie. And you mentioned I had him 19 in my latest mock draft that came out Monday, going to the Texans. But he's a legit top 10 talent. The issue is he plays running back, and sometimes running backs get pushed down a little bit. But look no further than Week 18, the last game of the regular season, and what Jahmyr Gibbs was able to do. That's the type of talent that Ashton Jeanty will bring to the next level. That's the type of talent we saw each and every Saturday in the fall at Boise State. He's a little undersized. We'll see how tall he actually ends up being, but he's not a wide receiver. He's not playing center in basketball. He's a running back. He runs with a low center of gravity, and he has every bit the juice that Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs had. And Bijan went top 10 a few years ago. Jahmyr Gibbs went 12, and I think Ashton Jeanty, that's the range he probably slides into when it's all said and done. He wasn't asked to catch a lot of the balls coming out of the backfield this year for Boise State, but if you go back and look at last year, he was a huge part of that pass game. He shows good hands. He can obviously make guys miss in space, and I know his last game against Penn State was a tough one for him. But Penn State put 8, 9 guys in the box. It would have been tough for anyone. But go back and watch the Oregon game from earlier in the fall, and he played as good as any running back can play against a big-time competition. I think that's going to translate to the next level. And the question ultimately becomes, how high does he get drafted? Because I think if he's there at 19, that just means a lot of other players, quarterbacks, offensive tackles, defensive ends got drafted first, even if Ashton Jeanty, when you rank these players in terms of top to bottom, is probably more closer to being a top 10 type player.
Well, let's dig into that a little bit further. You say he's closer to be a top 10 player, but like you said, running backs tend to slip a little bit further. You have him going 19 all the way down to Houston, but come on, there's got to be a market for a running back a little bit before that. What are some other potential landing spots for Jeanty? I see a number 11 pick up there.
There you go. This graphic here has my picks 11 through 20. San Francisco, they could be in the running back business. We know how Kyle Shanahan gets the most out of these running backs. And that offense with Christian McCaffrey, sweet mercy. You would like to see that with everyone finally healthy. One pick later, if the 49ers don't do it, at 12, Ezekiel Elliott been let go. Rico Dowdle's in the last year of his deal. The Cowboys need desperately some running back help to help Dak Prescott in that offense. That makes sense there. Even the Bengals at 17. I love the idea of giving Joe Burrow yet another weapon. It's going to be a situation where T. Higgins may not be back. I don't know why you wouldn't bring him back, but I'm not the person writing the checks in Cincinnati. But I love the idea of him and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow in that offense as well. And then the pick right after that, or if you look actually inside the top 10, these teams also need quarterbacks, so we'll see. But the Browns maybe moving on from Nick Chubb, who's battled injuries, has been a huge part of their offense. But as he didn't come back quite the same player he was before those injuries. New England needs some running back help to help Drake May, but they have thousands of other needs. And then even New Orleans, Alvin Kamara. I don't want to say he's long in the tooth because he had a great season, but you might think about a plan B in a post-Alvin Kamara world if you don't go out and get a quarterback or address the defense. So, again, there are plenty of places, and I'll mention 3 other names quickly. Seattle, Kenneth Walker III has been okay but not great. Denver, get some help for Bo Nix. And finally, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they probably won't bring back Najee Harris. So somewhere between 1 and 20, I see Ashton Jeanty going off the board, but I counted 10 teams, Katie, that need running back help.
Somewhere between 1 and 20, but of course those first 10 teams maybe will be one of it. Look, I'm not, or actually 11, because I'm not mad at them at the 11 pick for the San Francisco 49ers. Christian McCaffrey was pretty banged up this season. How much more do we have from him? Ryan Wilson, thank you for your time. And if you need more from Wilson, make sure you check out his draft podcast with the first pick with Rick Spielman. You can watch now by scanning the QR code on your screen or listen wherever you get your podcasts.